Hi Tarot Lovelies, it's Ethany, and today I want to share 6 pricing strategies to help you decide how to charge for your tarot readings. Now, this post is designed for tarot readers who want a bit of an idea of how to structure their offers for their clients and who aren't sure about how to price their services or may not even know all of the options that they have. Now, as with everything that I share, simply take what resonates with you and leave the rest. Now, as we go into this, please remember that time, no matter who you are or what service you provide and what you do in the world, is your most precious commodity. And when you are pricing your services, whether you are a healer or a reader or a freelance writer, make sure you consider all of the administrative work that goes into delivering your readings. So this is the emails that may go back and forth with your client. This is formatting your readings if you're doing them via email. This is taking the photos, cropping them, editing them, sending them, and attaching them. This is creating the PDFs if you're doing it that way. This is uploading your videos if you're doing it that way. There is a lot of admin that goes with running your own business, especially with running a tarot business if you're doing it for yourself. So please make sure you include your administrative duties and give yourself a baseline hourly rate that you include under or you incorporate it into your offerings. If you have been doing things differently up until this point and you watch this video or you read the blog post and you go, you know what, I actually want to change things. It is okay to change the charging amount or the way that you have designed your services. It is something that is amazing about working for yourself. If it's not working for you, change it. Your business, your rules. As for where to really start with what to charge money-wise, that is completely up to you, and it is a little bit of a double-edged sword for sure. You are essentially a freelancer, so that has to be a personal and professional decision you make and feel good about it. And I'm going to, in my closing remarks, talk a little bit more about actual pricing. But let's get to some of the ways that you can structure your readings and some pricing strategies that you can look at for your tarot business. The first one is charging by time. So many tarot readers charge by the amount of time spent during a session. So this can be via face-to-face, via phone, shops, fairs, event, and the wonderful world of Skype. Common slots are like 20 minutes, 45 minutes, 90 minutes. Really depends on the work you're doing. The more time that you spend with your client, the more money you charge. So one of the major pros of this kind of reading is that you know when your session is going to start and finish, which means you can manage your clients really well and you can manage your day very well. You know when you have this slot open and you have a client here. For my practice and my work, I like to have a full day of readings if I can, or a nice chunky time block of readings that are almost back to back with a small break in between, so that I'm in the zone and I have got nothing else distracting me. This has worked for me for my Skype readings for many years. My client books a slot and we create magic in it. It's a lovely collaborative exchange where there is a mix of free flow readings and answers to specific questions. So there are a couple of cons with this kind of reading. A client may book a 45-minute session and pay for a 45-minute session. And then around the 30-minute mark, they may have run out of questions and you may have run out of things to say. It can happen. And one of the things with being a professional is knowing what's in your bag, what's in your toolbox that you can do to either facilitate more in that session for your client or wrap it up and give them maybe a bit of a refund. And that has to be a personal decision. Sometimes people also try to push the session for longer than is given. So this can happen if a client keeps on, you say, 5-minute warning, we're about to wrap up our reading, and they just keep on asking you questions and want more and more and more out of the session. Now, you have to work on being professional at that as well, closing a reading in a way where you are putting your boundaries in place, but you're also ensuring that you're maybe not being too harsh with your client, and that is just something that you'll learn as you go along for sure. The second strategy is charging by question. These tarot readings are based on the number of questions your client wants answered. Now, a major benefit of these readings is it does get your client to really think about what they want to ask. On reflection, and this happens a lot, they find that they may have been focusing on the wrong question or looking at the wrong issue, person, situation for answers. I love getting to the root cause, and having readings like this certainly helps get there. I also carry out predictive tarot readings, so answering timing and future outcome questions is no problem for me, but it may be an issue for other readers who don't do this. And certainly by asking your clients to frame the question to you, you will know whether you are a fit for that client as well. So it's another really good way of knowing whether there is a good match made for client and the reader and the client. One of the major cons here is that the reader, you have to know that you've communicated the message enough, and you also have to figure out what layout or tarot spread you're going to use and how many cards you're going to use. This may also not work if you don't like answering the questions point blank with the cards. Some tarot readers do not ask their clients for questions at all in readings, and that's one of the beautiful things about our practice. Our way of doing things, our way of reading the cards are as varied as we are. This is one of the ways that I carry out my readings to my clients. This is actually the biggest way. So anything to do with my love readings, my career readings, my 2-question, my 1-question reading, I mean, the question is in the title, is actually done by question number. And I have a good rhythm and a good system now where I know what I want to design, because I design my spreads specifically for my clients' questions. But it did take me some time to get into the groove and to find a really happy rhythm and medium. So this is my preferred method for most readings, and it's something that if you are looking at structuring your readings, I highly recommend you sit with and see how you feel about. Now, the third offer that you could produce is a word count offer. Now, these tarot readings are more for written format than anything else, unless you want to have something count your words as you're speaking. God forbid, I don't even want to know how many words I speak in a day. This is where you as a reader will commit to delivering a word count reading or essay, like back in school, for your client. I personally find this one extremely challenging, and I've also had readings delivered to me, as I get readings myself as well, especially when I'm too close to a subject. And I found that when I've gotten some of these, it's like it's been fluffed out quite a bit by a reader who is kind of trying to draw out their word count or trying to pack in more value than there actually is. It's like, but my personality is like, get to the point. Like, deliver the work, but do please get to the point. And I also find that putting a cap or a goal for readings can often stifle the message, because you could be worried so much about hitting your word count, or like worried so much about going over, or whatever it may be, that you're not actually focusing on the message. You know what? It could work for some people. It may work for a lot of people. It just does not work for me. And this is a legitimate way. All of these ways are legitimate ways to run your tarot business and to offer your services. The fourth one is card count. So these readings are carried out by the number of cards that you will be offering and putting in your spread for your clients. Services usually start at like a 1-card draw or a 1-card reading, and then the sky's the limit for how big you want to go with it. These kind of readings provide good structure for both the reader and the client, and you really can get a lot out of just 1 card. There is a very well-known YouTube witchy card singing gorgeous woman who does actually deliver fantastic readings with 1 card, goes very deep with them. So it can happen. But there is also the drawback that some people can feel there is an inherent value put on more cards than less. So someone may be like, oh, well, I'm going to get more information, or I'm going to get a better reading with 10 cards and I'm going to buy 1 or 2. You do not have to draw out half of the deck unless you really want to, or you're doing something like a grand tableau to give a really in-depth reading. But some people are going to assume the more the better. Sometimes that's true, but sometimes it's actually not. This can actually confuse the client and overwhelm them as well. I know if I was getting a reading and someone sent me back a 20 card spread, I would just be like, Lordy, either you are unable to find the answer and give me a reading with a limited number of cards, which I would probably question their skill a little bit, to be honest, or you are trying to overcompensate or over-deliver, right? And a lot of us have that, like, oh, I need to over-deliver. That's a completely different other subject. But finding a good balance will assure that you're delivering a really good reading, but you're also getting to the point and that the client feels valued. So it's very much that juggling act, but you don't want to overwhelm them, because there actually becomes a point where we cannot take in any more information in one setting. So it's really good if you're a writer, or if you do stuff where you're sitting down for a long time, you take breaks. Like I put on laundry while I'm doing stuff sometimes, especially while I'm writing, because it's going to force me to get up and change things. Side note, and I kind of got a little derailed, but anyway, back on the tarot train track, chugga. So number 5 is specific tarot spread readings. So this is something where you would have someone offering you the Celtic Cross or a past life reading or a grand tableau, or they are actually going to offer you a specific spread. And this is great. This means there is a total roadmap, there is a start and a finish, that people know what they're going to get. The upside to this for sure is the reader that you are working with, hopefully with this spread, is likely very practiced with working with that particular layout and knows it well. These tarot or cartomancy spreads are also designed to achieve good, clear outcomes and experiences for your client, because you know going in that you are going to hit certain aspects, cover certain subjects, look at the cards in certain ways, and you are going to ensure you're painting a really good picture for them. Number 6, buy donation or pay what you can. Now, these readings are carried out by donation, tips, or your client pays what they can. You will still need to figure out what kind of reading you want to do for your client. So will it be a 3-card spread, a 1-card draw, a timed reading? Now, this is a riskier way of doing business, and I would say that this is best if you're reading as a side gig or a hobby, or you're at a certain event where you want quick sessions and a high turnaround, whether you're doing like a fair or you're hired to do a gig where you want a smaller amount. And I'm not talking about a party where you have a specific amount of time and people you're going to read. That is a completely different structure. Please check out my pro tips for reading at fairs and parties post. That'll give you a lot more information. But this may be something where you are at a cafe or a bar, or your friend's having a gallery opening and you're going to go and be part of the squad doing some readings for clients and people there, and to help entertain and bring a little bit of wisdom and cosmic goo-goo to the actual show. So this is where you kind of want it to be a little more in the flow and a little bit more free and open to the universe. As tarot is my main source of income, and a lot of people's main source of income, I can't operate my business that way and be able to take care of my responsibilities like my son without some structure. Even though I don't carry out these kind of readings, my income fluctuates every month. And that's probably like for most of us. I have fluctuating income every single month. So that's something that I can't do. And with the pay what you can, please know that some people are going to be pay what you want. Not what you can, but what you want. And there is a difference there. A very well-known, another colleague of mine did a pay what you can session for their birthday one year and got flooded, like inundated, because their following had pretty much doubled from the year before when they offered it for the first time. And some of them were, you know, first of all, this person had a huge amount of work to get through for very little return, it was meant to be a gift, but some people were kind of pulling the P a little bit. So be careful when it comes to people's inherent value of on your own time. They may not value it as much as they, not maybe should is the right word, but as much as it is valued at. You know, your time, your expertise is certainly valuable. But for hobby stuff or events, side gigs and all that, it's a great way of introducing people to tarot with low risk, getting your name out there, and, you know, slinging cards and having fun. So my final thoughts on this is, there's a few. So most people worry about what they are going to charge because they are afraid of being rejected, afraid of ridicule, and afraid of not being booked. That's a completely real thing. You are going to be too much for some people, and that's okay. I posted this meme of Robbie Downey Jr. on my Facebook page a couple of days ago saying, if a client says that you pay, you charge too much, you can turn around and say, well, I have clients that, pay just that. So go find someone that vibes with you on that way. Some people are going to think you are charging too much, and some people are going to think you're not charging enough. That's just it. Literally, you're going to get both sides of the coin. At the end of the day, you have to feel good about what you do, and you have to feel good about what you charge and how you conduct your business. Do not make your client's mind up for them. This is such a massive mistake. That is not your role to make up anybody else's mind for them. If this is your chosen profession, then own it. Your work, your time, your study, your expertise, your magic, and your energy has value. If people want to try haggle you, shame you about what you charge, remember they are projecting their money crap onto you. And they are also not your ideal client. They are not your people's. I found in the beginning of my tarot business, oh my gosh, when I started to try to accommodate people who were haggling or the like, they always became nightmare clients. I mean, always. It is not okay to shame other readers for how they price their readings. Their business is their business. Their clients will happily pay or find somebody else. When you find yourself comparing or getting triggered by something like this, remember to focus on your own work. Bring it back to you. Bring your energy back to whom you are serving. Now, there is a lot of information in there, but really, truly, I've done a lot of money work over the years, and I've gone from building my business to having, 0 people on Instagram and 0 following to where I am now. And a lot of money stuff comes up when you are faced with when you go through growth in a business. So focus on your own work and bring it back to who you're serving is always a very good reminder when you get triggered. Now, I hope you found this helpful, and I hope that you found there may be some food for thought, some tarot juicies for you in there for you to kind of have a look at, especially if you're looking at how to price your offerings. I hope you've enjoyed the video. As always, thank you so much for watching.